So I do remember that this guy was saying that he knew the song from when Buck would come to the school.
He would always sing it everywhere he went. The last time he actually did the song was in 2006 when he went to go speak at the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Cooperstown.
And he had all these Hall of Famers holding hands and singing after him, "The greatest thing in all my life is loving you."
I just love that there's a crossover between my love of the visual arts and the way I approach that to tell stories, and my also working with sports and baseball and football, and then Buck's love of music.
Yeah.
And being able to use that to articulate his message. And one thing I loved about being able to paint this for people is with the apartment buildings here, when they wake up in the morning, they get to read this message.
Exactly.
And I thought that that was important for, instead of someone staring at you through the window, you get to read this and enjoy it. The Buck O'Neil seat.
Yes.
Honor seat that some of us have been able to sit in, and my dad has been able to sit in this seat, which I thought was great.
I've sat in it twice.
I'm still waiting. I wanted to create these vignettes in which people could create their own memories based on those memories. So you say, okay, my father sat in this seat, or I'm graduating this year. And that was one way that I wanted to tie this mural into people being able to visit the museum and understanding more the legacy of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. My dad took me to the K once where he was in the seat and walked me down there and was like, you have to meet this guy. I really respect my father for being able to say, this is the man you need to know and understand, because there's a lot to it. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we got his signature so prominent.
Yes.
And so this signature comes from the autographed hat that my father has.
When I first met Buck, I asked him what motivated you to want to build a Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and his answer was succinct, but also very poignant, so that we would be remembered. He did not want them to be forgotten for not just what they gave the game of baseball, but as you know, what they gave this country.
Absolutely.
And this is part of that continuum. It's part of that legacy. It is promoting the history of the Negro Leagues and the history of this country.
And speaking of history and historic breakthroughs, I wanted to show the handshake between Ernie Banks and Buck.
Of course, Buck brought Ernie over to the Kansas City Monarchs, and then later sent him over to the Chicago Cubs. And Ernie would become the Cubs' first African-American player.
I wanted to kind of bridge a gap between one of my favorite Queen Latifah songs, UNITY.
Yes.
And I wanted to see if you remember what image I'm using from this.
That's that great I'm trying to remember what year that is. Homestead Gray's photograph. That's Gibson and Buck Leonard in the middle.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Benjamin is in that photograph. It's a classic photograph.
So when I look at this area, I think about, okay, is there another team that's going to come and all line up and take a picture here together and kind of enjoy the idea that we're all monarchs? And I think that that's kind of what a message that Buck would have wanted people to understand, that, you know, within everything you're going through, you can still have this kind of regal excellence about you.
There will be generations of kids who won't have the opportunity that we had to know him.
Right.
But through this kind of work, the work that we're doing at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, it will make sure that Buck O'Neil will never be forgotten.
I always looked at him as an ambassador.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes Sly James took on that as saying, you know, world-class city. But I think the originator of that concept was Buck O'Neil.
Yeah.
The original concept of Kansas City is a world-class place, a destination, but also an exporter of culture and people as well.
Yeah. No, we got him here in 1938, and he never left.
Never left.